I was going to do an update, but I decided to do a live. I know a lot of people are at work. I don't know how many people are going to get sent this because I haven't even received my live and it's hooked up to my portfolio. So we'll see how many people tune in. If we don't get a lot of people in this live, it'll be pretty simplistic. I'll just do it like 20, 25 minutes. And then it'll just be released. And then whenever YouTube decides to put it out for everybody, because the lives haven't been going out right away. They've been taking about a day to put out to the regular public, which is kind of a shame. Because the lives haven't been going out right away. They've been taking about a day to put out. Oh, sorry, I had to turn that off. So we'll just work with what we have, and we'll deal with YouTube with their analytics being very, very piss poor right now. So I do appreciate everybody who tunes in. If you weren't able to get into the live, I appreciate it still if you're watching this after. Either way is fine by me. The information is the information. Sola Jeffy, good morning, and thanks for tuning in this early Monday morning. Start of a new trading week. I greatly appreciate that. G Stock, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Jay Freemix, good morning. Joseph Euler, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Greatly, greatly appreciate everybody in here already. Make sure to hit that like button so we can push this and force YouTube to push through the algorithm. Silver Days XRP, good morning to you, and thank you so much for tuning in on this Monday morning, the start of a new trading week. Means a lot to me to see all of you in here. Dan Marginal, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 3+ month with the XRP Meteor. Juan Canolis, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty Outhouse Crypto News. Define Group, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Also, a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram says, hey, everyone, hit that like on the way in. Consider joining Tom's Army and subscribing. If you're not in the Telegram, you're missing out. I agree. If you're not in the Telegram, there's a lot of stuff you're missing. A lot of interconnectability and a deeper meaning to the community. It's so special in there. Ronald Grump, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Says, this is the day the Lord hath made. Let us all rejoice and be glad in it. Amen to that. And more than one person is speaking the name of our Lord and Savior, so God becomes present amongst our actions here this morning and will help guide us. So don't forget to give thanks to Yahweh, Yeshua, and be thankful for what we have. Positivity over negativity. We're going to try to find this on the positive path. We're going to try to connect with each other. In a world with so much chaos, it's our ability here to at least create abundance within each other. Dan Marginal, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Matthew, Eddie, good morning. Miss G Stott, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Jocko, good morning. Thank you all so much. So what we see here this morning is XRP is in fact below $3. We made a push up to $3.18 over the weekend. But as we knew with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME gap built. We figured by Sunday evening, before Monday morning, we'd come back down to around that 303, 304 area. Unfortunately, falling through that $3 area. That's not a caveat to, oh, we're going to be under $3 for eternity and yada, 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 so on and so forth. But we knew when we had come up that we didn't have a lot of volume coming up. However, now that we've come back down, the 4 hourly is extremely oversold. And the stochastic, RSI, and the 4 hourly. And it's lining up perfectly for that rate cut decision. You know, if we can continue to dump down here today and tomorrow, we want to see a sell the rumor, buy the news event with crypto. So if you're seeing dumping going into the rate cut decision, that means more obviously, or more on a more consensus that people are thinking we're going to not get as high of a rate cut. So we've got the, you know, you'd have to buy the news, sell the rumor, or buy the rumor, sell the news if that's the case. If people think, or if the market is setting up for a parabolic push after rate cuts, you would want to be selling the news, or selling the rumor and buying the news, which is exactly what's going on right now. The rumor is we're selling the rumor of a rate cut. And every time we tried to push up, we haven't had that overwhelming push. So this is good. For XRP as a whole, this is very, very good. Especially for crypto. If we can continue to consolidate going in, I would dare say, and I know a lot of people would be pissed, if XRP on rate cut, and now in real time it's going to be, if we do it into the 16th, that's $2.78. If we can just back test and hold that area, this would be a huge spike coming. I mean, this would be a huge spike coming. This is the consolidation out of a cup and handle breakout. This consolidation would be confirmation for a further breakout if we can hold it. So, and that gives us flamboyancy or, clarity all the way down to $2.78. That is a massive layer right there. That is a massive layer of consolidation. And but where the stochastic is at, you could definitely see a grand scaling sell off before that happens. Potsy Weber, good morning from New York City. I think, how many people have hit that? 34 out of 48 of you have hit the like button. I told you, I still have not received word that I'm live. So most of the people in here, a lot of you are from the Telegram. Some of you are just monitoring and watching to see when my stuff goes live. But it's brutal right now with the way that they're putting stuff out. My live from yesterday is still not even available to the public. I mean, if you go searching, you can find it. But as of this morning, YouTube hadn't posted it. It's pretty interesting. I've seen it bad on YouTube, but I've never really seen it this bad to where my lives are being put out like a day or two later. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, honestly. At least the one from the 14th got put out at some point this morning, so at least now you can see it, but it's been taking a while. The ones that I did on Thursday didn't become available until Saturday night, which was crazy. Yeah, I sent out a live myself. That's why you guys got one. For everybody who's a member in the community, I sent out one to you personally. So you guys are able to get it because you're subscribed to the channel. And that's something I sent out before I started. That's how you got it. It didn't send it to me, though, unfortunately. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you should get a notification because I sent it out to all subscribers to the channel. But who knows? I'm glad some of you did receive one. That makes me at least happy that 0.1% of people are getting it. Crypto Cooter, welcoming along with the Cannabis Podcast. Thank you both for being in Tom's Arm for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. And also, Crypto Cooter, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. It's been amazing getting to know everybody in there. G. Stott, welcome Mrs. and Mr. Stotter in here this morning. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty Dados Crypto News. I love it. Juan Canoli's got the invite, or got the notification. I love it. So did Frisky Auto. What's up, friend? And welcome in here this morning as well. The Gatman, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Great community here this morning. Great community to learn from. Good morning. 9:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, September 15th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So for anybody who is in the Telegram, make sure you listen to this. I did it in a voice, with my voice, but you can also go like this so you can see exactly what it says. Only a couple people have looked at that. It's a valuable section, but I don't do it every day because I haven't got the back and forth, so if you want to be more involved there, be more involved. But I see a lot in the Telegram. It ends up being, a little bit different than what happens in the live. So we've got our own identity in the Telegram, our own identity in the live, but there's so much to get to know, so many people to get to talk to, and so on and so forth by being in the Telegram. So I encourage you to go over there. So with XRP, the biggest thing that I'm seeing is this possible back test still here. We never back tested the consolidation. We broke out of the cup and handle. And the only question we have is, do we back test farther? All the way down possibly to this dollar. I mean, that's all the way down to like $1.70 in real time, because we have to go in real time, leading us out into, this would be October 1st, would be $1.77 on a breakdown. But if we're only going back to this consolidation after the cup and handle breakout, and we're just back testing to validate and give us the confirmation to a further breakout, and the next part of this, if we can hold this, would be 369. That's a rather substantial push from where we're at. So that would be $3.69. That would be a nice firm push. And honestly, it would be a great way to continue to build a nice base to push out on rate cuts. So that's what I'm hopeful for. Daly's overbought. I'm hopeful that this comes down at least into the 50 for the score, down around the 50 percentile, retrace back to neutral, 4 hourly would be extremely, because it's already oversold. It would be exhausting. It'd be exhausted in the oversold. The volume in the MACD, or the moving, you know, at least the flow is still pretty red here. No reversal yet. 2 hourly, we're starting to flip white a little bit, which means we could be heading towards some kind of midday reversal. If you look at it in the 30-minute, still, I mean, it's trying to flip back. Now, is this a J hook? If it's a J hook, it's going to bring us right down to that 278, 280 area. Yeah, Crypto Cooter, I shared it on Facebook from the actual Telegram post. So, hello. So I don't know why some of you didn't see it on the Telegram, but it is definitely in there in the pager section. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Don't put it here. I have a candle. You're okay. Mosey here. Welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate the 44 likes out of the 64 watching already. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're seeing. Obviously, when the charts look like this, you're not going to get as much interest, but these are the most important times to be around, bar none, because we're building into a positioning and a overall structure setup going into the rate cut. So this is very important. These are very important times. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at Ethereum. I would like to take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, and I would like to take a look at the total 3 to see exactly what's setting up for the potential of alt season or on the horizon. Mark Casson, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Crazy Poll, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. I love seeing so many people in Tom's Army in here this morning. Thank you all so much for the support. Means a lot to me. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now. So now let's take a look at Bitcoin. We already know the problem with Bitcoin is we're well underneath that rising wedge. 121K would have needed to fall. The first area we need to hold for support is at 114,778 to try to push us to the rising wedge resistance. And he might like that. And that might help us push out here if we could hold 114.7. If we lose this, if this is lost, and the daily is pointing to a direction because we're so overbought, we could end up falling here very quickly if we lose this 114.778. And I want you guys to pay attention. The technical target down out of that rising wedge, if this forms, and it would be a huge rejection if we fall back through 114.778 and get rejected. Then it opens up 91.4, and then ultimately 81,500 is the technical drop. But we have to reevaluate because we did come up higher. And technically it didn't ever come up any farther. So, I mean, I'm still going to keep it firm down here. We can reevaluate if it gets down to like 102 or 98 if it holds, or 91 the FVG at 91,495. But it is firm right now at 81.5 area, 82, maybe 83. If this breaks down, we are on the verge here. It hasn't happened yet, but we are legitimately on the verge of something catastrophic right now if this were to break down farther. Now, if we can hold this support structure, hold this 114.778 and show a nice support, we could bounce up and try to retest that 121, especially because we're oversold in the 4 hourly, but that daily is concerning. The lack of volume is concerning. The fact that this would be where we go up to get a rejection for a further drop if it doesn't hold is concerning. The golden cross is nice, but we need a volume spike. That 4 hourly on the MACD moving average convergence diverging is very concerning. How it's continuing to bleed red and continuing to pick up steam. And the stochastic, we're oversold, but in the daily, we're severely overbought. So this is a very big divergence between the 4 hourly and the daily. And the higher time frames usually went out. Now, if you go into the weekly, you're oversold. So this is where we get that little bit of a caveat of which direction are we going. It is in our best interest to continue down here and clear this out before we get the rate cut so that we don't have any nonsense going into it. I would love to see it clear out of about, it's not going to happen this much, but I would have loved to have seen a dump down on Bitcoin, even if only to a 91K, or even if only to 98K. I would have loved to have seen it. I would have actually liked to see a complete reset to 81 and just having this parabolicness that could send us right back up with any good news. But it looks like we're just going to kind of set still. So it's going to be very interesting with how oversold we are in the 4-hourly. It's going to be very, in the daily, how overbought we are compared to the oversold in the 4-hourlies. So, that's going to be very interesting to watch. Ethereum's down $77 or 1.71% to start the trading week at 4,524. Still has its own demons to deal with. Never came back up to its own rising wedge. And right now we've got underneath support on this uptrend that has to hold. Like, you cannot fall below 4,379 and get rejected. Otherwise, it's going to start to open the door to these little channel over the top. And right now you got 4,379. No, I don't want that cloned. And if we were to continue to fall, let's see, 4,249. You push to the 17th, you've got 3,974 on the bottom of the channel. I don't like where the daily time frame is in the stochastic, but obviously we have a lot of room in the 4-hourly with how much we've already cleared out. I just don't like where it's at right now, personally. I wish we would have cleared out a little more in the daily. We broke a little bearish in the daily compared to the trend line. Price action moved through it, so now we're at a very tipsy point. So we just got to pay attention to the rest of the market movement. It does give us an opportunity for a short-term reversal, though, with how oversold we are in the smaller time frames. So we do have a bit of a divergence there between the daily and the 4-hourly. When we look at the DXY, it's down 0.25% this morning to 97.39. The U.S. 10-year yield is down 0.66%. The Dow, that is not what it's down. It's actually up in pre-market, but doesn't open for 3 more minutes. I was up about 100 points in futures. The gold-silver ratio is up 0.25% to 86.556. Vado Damas, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Odele, friend. Gold is up 0.25% or $9 to 3,652. Barrett Gold's down 0.25% to 28.96 in pre-market. B2 Gold's up 2% in pre-market to $4.58. Silver's up 1/10 nickel, or just pretty much flat at $42.15. Pan America Silver is up just under 0.5% to 36.85 in pre-market. First Majestic is down 0.1% to $10.53. Fortuna Silver Mines is flat at $8.35 in pre-market. Hekla's up 0.18% in pre-market to $11.23. Silver Court Metals is down just over 1/3 of 1% in pre-market, down to $5.26. And Dolly Varden Silver Corporation is up about 0.89%, just over 0.75 of 1% at $4.55. So we've got a lot of ups and downs here this morning. The total crypto market cap is down 0.75 of 1% to $3.948 trillion. Shane, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Amazing to see you in here as always. Make sure to hit that like button, everybody, if you're tuning in. 63 likes out of 91, and the more likes we get, the more people that show up. So I really appreciate you forcing YouTube to push this through the algorithm. I encourage you to look in the video description below. Join WEEX if you want to be a part of copy trading in the future. We're going to be buying IOTA together, and only IOTA going forward, because we have our other portfolios. But IOTA, I'm going to buy when I see appropriate. And we're getting there. We're just not there yet. It'll be a minimum of 10,000 tokens that we build over time. So right now you would have to put less than $2,000 in WEEX and follow my copy trade. You'll have to click on the link and follow my copy trade. It's in the pinned comments below. More particularly, join Tom's Army. Be in the Telegram so you can see all further updates. But that's what I'm going to be doing with the group. Until WEEX tells us we're not allowed in the USA, that's going to be the play. Obviously, I have other crypto, but I would love to build into a hardy position. At minimum, 10,000 tokens. Trying to get upwards of 20 to 30,000 with the group, but we're going to start with 10. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see the flow. So that's up to all of you if you would still like to participate in that. So, and I think that'll be a great opportunity. IOTA is available for copy trade. And there's so many other tokens that weren't on BitUnix are available to at least copy trade. IOTA was on BitUnix in the futures, but they wouldn't let us copy trade, which I encourage you to still use BitUnix, but I can't be the person to lead it through a copy trade or anything like that because it is not viable as much in the USA. If you already have an account, there's no issues right now. So I still encourage you to send money over there, do your futures trading if you're going to do it, or, you know, buy your spot and then send it over to your actual wallet or the exchange you desire. Just don't take the risk of letting a large amount sit there for days on end. I still have a couple thousand on BitUnix for when I need to make purchases and send it elsewhere, but I don't, you know, I don't keep it on there for much longer. XRP, like we talked about, the 4 hourly was massively oversold in the stochastic, so it leads for opportunity for pushes up here. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. We also have a nice inverse head and shoulders. So as long as we hold these areas, we can have a huge parabolic spike up to 369 in the short term. I prefer for this to dump leading into rate cuts. I prefer, with the 2-day meeting starting tomorrow, I prefer for a continuation down. We've come down from 318. I prefer we continue to dump going into rate cuts. It would allow us to have this unbelievable momentum burst when we get there. The total crypto market cap is down 0.75%. I mean, it still looks like it wants to confirm this uptrend. It would be the third tap on the uptrend. It would make a lot of sense if we want to get there. And that's at 3.79 trillion, and it would still remain very, very, very bullish. Let's line it up with, whoops. Son of a bitch. It would still leave for a nice tap. Around 3.8, 3.79 trillion. I like it. I'll look at them after. We tapped it the first time. Right around 2.32 trillion. Then we tapped it at 2.99 trillion. And I mean, you could put it right here even. You could push it up here and just say it tapped it there if we want, but I guess we could do that. So, I mean, you could say technically we did hit it again right here at 365. So there's no 100%, it's no 100% guarantee that we're just going to bounce back in here at 3.8. But that is where it could hit for the total crypto market cap if we're looking to get a little more support structure. 4 hourly is oversold in a big way. The daily with the total crypto market cap is likely overbought. Oh yeah, definitely overbought. Could be a reversal this morning. If 3.8 trillion, let's go in real time right here. Just say it hits it sometime in the next day or two, is at 3.78. If this is lost, then you could start coming back down near the 200 day at 3.37. So it's very, very curious to see which direction this takes. If we take the upward route, we're looking at 4.8 trillion in time. Like that's the target out of that bounce out of 3.32. So we've still got a massive push out still from that push out, inverse head and shoulders, back testing, new inverse head and shoulders, back testing the current inverse head and shoulders. And it would stay perfect as long as we stay over that downtrending resistance support structure now. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here. It's just the daily is oversold or overbought as to where the 4 hourly is oversold. It is a weird element to be in this morning. The total 3 right now is at 1.11 trillion. It's down about twice as much as the total crypto market cap. And remember, the total crypto market cap is all cryptos. The total 3 is all crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And when you look at the total 3, I mean, we still play that same kind of relative motion here. I mean, it's relative. It's actually right here. I don't know why this always moves. It's so annoying. Ever since they did these newest updates on TradingView, it is so annoying how things move. I know some of you have been following me for years. It is so annoying. Even if you're paying for it, it's getting really bad on TradingView. They're going to have to do something. Otherwise, they're going to lose their hold on the market. Other companies now are trying to imitate it, which somebody will. Imitate TradingView if they keep going down this. They keep adding more and more ads. They keep making it harder and harder to use for free. To the point to where now I've had to pay, you know, for it so that I can do different things. But yeah, if you're using it in the general public, you know, it's getting a little bit more difficult if you don't understand. So, Again, the back test here would be if we came all the way back down. I mean, you can see an area around 1 trillion if this happens. And it's ironic because that would be a daily flush. But it's going to be hard too because the 4 hourly is so oversold. So there are differing opinions here. You could get people that buy in even for the short term saying that 4 hourly leads for a little opportunity. So we'll be watching this as the day goes on. There is no doubt about it. We're going to be watching this as the day goes on very, very closely. Leading into tomorrow, the first of the 2-day FOMC meeting, culminating with Jerome Powell at 3 o'clock on Wednesday to talk about the rate cut itself. The speculation is there's going to be 100 total basis point rate cut by the end of the year, 50 basis points on Wednesday. But if it's 25 basis points or less, we're in trouble in risk asset. If it's over 50 and it's 75, we're going to cook. If it's 50, we don't know. It should do something great. But we really don't know. Nunya, welcome in and thanks for being in town over your second month with the Dusty House Crypto News. Big Dog, good morning and thanks for being in town for your 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Lori Watson, good morning. Me too, go down, get it done. Absolutely. That's what I want. Now let's look at the others. The others, as we know, the total crypto market cap is all crypto we looked at. The total 3 we just looked at, that's all crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. The others is all crypto minus the top 10. So get rid of XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I don't know if Chainlink's at 10 or 11 this morning. Get rid of Tether. Get rid of a few others. And then we have all other crypto outside of the top 10 most pushed cryptos. You know, the most viable when it comes to unrelenting advertising like XRP gets from all the schlubs. Same with Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's a few good people, but most people are just trying to make $1 off of each of us. That mainly means you guys. But there's a lot of truth in this still, so we still got opportunity. So when you take out the rest, 317.068 down 2%. So all other crypto is down twice as much as the total 3, which the total 3 is down 1/4 more, 1/3 more than the total. So everything's falling a lot faster than Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we're literally out on an island right now on this. We are on an island. Still very much have a long ways to go here. If we fall back down 209.28 billion, and when we look at this from a standpoint of where we at, weekly is massively oversold. Like, I hate where that's at in the weekly. The daily is overbought. I mean, we're massively overbought in the weekly, overbought in the daily, and the you know, others massively oversold in the 4 hourly. But it does speak to the fact that we could get a significant dump off still with everything. You know, but with the 4 hourly, it gives us opportunity, like I said, to push up. You've seen XRP push up this morning from 298, 299. 4 hourly is in great shape. It's just the daily is moving. Yes, I understand XRP's up. I understand. It's exactly what we were talking about when we first started this live. XRP's got an opportunity with the rest of them because the 4 hourly is so oversold. But how does that relate? That's just going to push, if we have a nice little push here, it's going to push the weekly and the daily way up for the others. And it's just going to lead, I don't know, it's going to lead to an environment. If we push here, I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news. Because of where we're set up with stochastic and everything, the technical trader is going to set up for a dump if this doesn't continue to wash out here today, leading into tomorrow. And ultimately into Wednesday, in my opinion. Tom, what's your thoughts on Tether starting USAT, their new stablecoin backed by the dollar? It's shit. It's absolute trash. USA Tether is already technically, you know, supposedly backed by something, but it's not. The fact they're going to say it's backed by the dollar is horseshit. Only one thing can truly be backed by the dollar. Not USDT, USDC. That's the United States digital currency. They can say whatever they want about Tether. You're a fool if you put your money in that. Unless you have to. And that doesn't mean, listen, this doesn't mean you can't buy XRP in the USDT pairing. Or you can't buy Solana in the USDT pairing. The number one misrepresentation misconception and biggest line of horse shit ever put out for crypto is if you hold your token in USDT and USDT goes to zero, you go bankrupt. Do you know how stupid these people are? And I don't want to talk negatively, but do you know how uneducated that is at the base? If I hold XRP and USD, let's just say you hold XRP on an exchange in USDT and it goes to zero. You have 10,000 XRP. You still own XRP. You can sell it in Bitcoin. You can sell it in USDT. You can sell it in RLUSD to get that money. It doesn't fucking matter. XRP is XRP. It don't matter what denomination or what it looks like on the back end. You can simply take XRP on the ledger, send it to another exchange that deals outside of Tether, and you're fine. I still don't know how so many people get that wrong. Not you guys in the audience, but influencers. They get it so wrong on exchanges. So wrong. And I just want you guys to hear it straight up from my mouth. You won't lose it that way. If you try to sell it out in USDT, it'll be zero if it's at zero. But there's still USDC. There's still all these RLUSD. You can still do it with so many different things. So just pay attention to that. Don't be afraid of an exchange because you have to buy. And now if you're holding your money in USDT and it goes to zero, you're screwed. Then you have zero. So I always say if you're not buying, put it back in USDC, USD, RLUSD. I don't care what. Just get it out of USDT. But when you're in a token, you don't have to worry. So just at least take that sweat off of your back. Just take that weight off of your shoulders because that is something you do not have to worry about. When I first started crypto, I too thought that's how it worked. You know, but once I started to learn, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm an idiot. Or I've just been misrepresented. People are misrepresenting the truth. So that was very hard for me to understand in the beginning. So I'm just trying to teach you what I already know. So don't feel bad. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that that's not how it works. Ronald says, I've got sell orders ready at each dollar amount to avoid missing a spike event. Beautiful. That's how it goes. I mean, we've got to pay attention to it. My number one focus right now, if I'm being honest, is on IOTA. Because I'm trying to get that perfect snipe. Yeah, there's that. I'm watching very closely Band because it's doing exactly, unfortunately, what we've talked about. It's going to put itself into a massively oversold scenario, but we're not there yet. And I still think in time, this is a possibility that it is going to be at 57 cents. I really believe that could be a possibility. Now, if we hold the back test here, which I like what Band's doing because I want it to get back towards neutral before rate cuts. So, I mean, that could put us in an environment at 67.7 would be nice. You see the daily's almost back down to neutral. 4 hourly is massively oversold. 3 hourly massively oversold. 2 hourly massively oversold. 1 hourly massively. 45. This is what I want to see. I want to see some universal pushing. Weekly almost down into neutral. Like this is what I want to see across the board. Not so oversold or overbought in the dailies and weeklies. This is what I want to see. Anthony Venegas, welcome in and thanks for being in this audience for a very, very long time and very supportive. I love it. Let's see. As not as much as I used to. The company I work for is worth. Excellent. I love that there's some closeness there. That's awesome. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. And I see like Band might be over ahead by a day of the rest of the market. So I see the rest of the market trying to follow this setup. I really do. It's amazing what's happening here. This is amazing. Because the whole market seems to be in quite a similar setup. Now, my whole thing with CRO is I have a bunch of it staked because I just have it set there for my crypto Visa debit card. But there's not a guarantee that I won't get rid of some of this, to be honest with you. So, Ben, good morning. We'll see how this goes. Shane says he's excited for quant staking the XRPH IPO. I'm very excited about the XRP healthcare IPO. But just remember, as this transfers, there's probably going to be some more downward. I have a target down around... Where does this go to? If this doesn't break out, And let's just say we get rejected here. I mean, the first area is going to be around 3-1, but there is a chance. I don't think it's going to come way down here. But you never know. It's been a very long-standing consolidation. You really don't know here. I mean, we don't know. There's no way of knowing until it finally happens. I think more appropriately it'd be something like that. Nice descending, almost like a descending wedge, descending triangle. Is 60 cents the next technical target for IOTA? If we break up IOTA, it's not quite 60. I mean, in time. But our next major resistance right now, and it's a very viable resistance that nobody has to debate because it's the pattern resistance and the consolidation. Your next resistance, let's say it comes up here. I like to push it out near November, but let's just put it right here for now so it's easier. You're going to have to get through 22.2, but then once you get above here, then you start to open the door because this is just a short part of the pattern. Then it starts to open it up at that massive resistance over the top. So you're not wrong. It's just you got a few things in between. 48 cents especially. So you have 22 and 48 are going to be the big areas to start pushing up towards that next parabolic zone. Actually, this is a little bit lower. 21.86. So, I mean, that's what this pattern's setting up for in the grand scale. And remember, the apex moment in this pattern, it's still got time. Like, we've still got time. Like, we've still got all the way until... That's the problem with IOTA. Long time still. August of 28 is technically that setup. If you want to look at it from that perspective. There's smaller ways to get out of this. But, yeah, to put it in perspective, 21.8 and then just about 46 and a half. But then... Once you break out of here, I mean, it gets pretty big if you can get out of here. And now that's the question. When, if, how, where? What's the right environment? What's the actual scenario? But you can give yourself a baseline. Like, if we get out of here, $1.23. But that's going to take time. And that's going to create an inverse head and shoulders. And then that's going to be what allows it to spike up in time. I have no doubt in my mind that IOTA is going to look like... And if you look at it like this, you technically can look at it as... We're getting towards the short-term apex. If you look at it like this, from the all-time pattern, and this is what I will continue to show, we could technically already be in this. With the over-adaption, or the overextension. And then that means we could have a quick drop down to like 13.45, and that would be your basis. This is the chart that I like to watch, with the other ones as the short-term. But I definitely like to watch this because you could have it fall through to 13. That, when I say I'm looking for the right spot, that very well could be that right spot. So, Craig Carlson, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Says Hank Hill. If you're saying I'm Hank Hill, you'd be the first person who calls me Hank Hill. I tell you what. But I like it. I like it. Let's see. I think we kept up with everybody. I'm so blessed to see 105. You see how hard or how much you got? Oh, the Hank Hill structure. Oh, yeah. The Hank Hill ass syndrome. You're right. Crowd Collison, touche, my friend. You're absolutely right. This also suffers from the Hank Hill ass syndrome. And these are good. We want to see these. We want to see the Hank Hill ass syndrome in play. Because then that means as it sets up, we should at some point come up here. And then ultimately we have a $10 plus target. And some people laugh at me, but I think that's firm. I think in time we're buying in the sense to get over $10 for IOTA. I really believe it. Mainframe token. Some people think I'm full of shit or I'm off my rocker, but I'm okay with that. They thought I was with XRP at 30 cents when I said I'll see you at $3 and then 6 and, you know, so on and so forth. And now we're there. So people don't... You know what I see? The majority of people say, oh, XRP, it's such a pain in the ass. It never moves. We never get ahead. It's like, guys, 1 freaking year ago, we were at $3 or 30 cents. Like, give it a break. I'll be right back. I got to bring some stuff in. And feed the birds. Take a moment. Hit that like button. I have a very, very dedicated sense, so I have to do this real quick. They're all watching and waiting for their food. I'm just gonna set this one right here. Okay. Because then it'll be easier for you to put in the fridge. Now you don't have to bring these in. Alright, sorry about that, everybody. Just some obligation I had to do, and I didn't want Julie to have to bring some other stuff in. Now, for the last, 15, 20 minutes of this, let's see what we can do. Propane and propane. Cape Cod Kyle, welcome in Tom's Army for well over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. He's in Massachusetts. I love it. Bear Yoga, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. And Cowabunga, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And Epitox, good morning. How do I feel about XLM? I like XLM a lot. It's just at this point in time, I think I'm more dedicated to XDC. I'm not saying you shouldn't have exposure, but for further exposure, I really like XDC. But you need to have exposure to XLM, XRP, XDC. So 10,000 XLM will remain in my portfolio, just like XRP, but 10 times more than that of XDC, token-wise. So I do have I like all three, obviously. I just like XDC a little more at this stage. I think XLM is getting close to a parabolic state, so I think even versus XRP, XLM most likely could have a bigger breakout, but we'll see what happens. LM is absolutely still within a setup like XRP was in. It just couldn't get out of it yet. And it runs much longer than XRP if you actually look at it from the beginning. I mean, we're talking about an apex that could go many, many years. But I love XLM. Don't get me twisted. I really like XLM. I think it's a viable option. Nice inverse head and shoulder setup right now. Just trying to get out of this resistance. Big cup and handle. So it's hard for me like, hey guys, buy it at 34 cents because we were buying it at 9 and 10. Doesn't mean I'm getting rid of it. It's just, it's there for the long hold. That's all. You know, it's just there for the long hold. I had 20,000 that I sold 10,000 of them when we had that big push up in January. But I'm unwilling to get rid of the other 10,000. It's just something that I have a long-term belief in. But it doesn't mean that I couldn't make my money back and then a whole hell of a lot more back in December and January. I think we're at 50 cents when I finally said, got to get rid of it, let it consolidate. Even though I still had 10,000 tokens, I'm saying so that I can make a little bit of money. But that extra money goes towards XDC. I think XDC has better potential. That's just me. I'm not an expert when it comes to what you should buy and shouldn't. I'm not a financial advisor. So, you know, obviously buy what you believe in. This is for educational purposes and entertainment. But at the end of the day, you know, you've got to be in control of your portfolio. I see a lot of people selling their algo for H-bar. Me personally, I don't like that. I love H-bar. I have 10,000 tokens. But I disagree with getting rid of your algo for H-bar. Now, I could be wrong. You know, maybe it proves me wrong in the future. No, G-Star. Absolutely incorrect. They might have been close, but in comparison, H-bar has outperformed XLM big time. Everybody gets that wrong. H-bar was down at 4 cents. Got all the way up to 40, 10x. Now it's back up to 23. I mean, it's still up 6x. As to where XLM, yeah, it started down lower towards 9, 10 cents. I mean, if you go all the way back in its chart. But in the apples to apples, it was at 8.8. So from 8.8, I mean, I guess you could say it's 4x, maybe 5x. But it's in a different spot. H-bar had never hit where it had hit. XLM has almost been to $1. I mean, to go back in this chart, we've only hit up here 57 cents. We came all the way up to like 41. It's tough because there's a lot more upside potential technically with XLM, but because of all the let's just say the adoption, so to say, with H-bar, I still could see a scenario where H-bar is putting up the middle hump and it comes all the way back around and creates the W. I can still see that potential. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Probably not. But I can also see an inverse head and shoulders set up here. That if we can break out, it could go all the way up to $1.12 after hitting 68. So there's a lot of potential here. What American exchange has the lowest selling fees? Well, if you're looking for a tier 1 exchange, they all have terrible fees. KRAKEN, you can pay $4.99 a month, so you can trade $10,000 a month without trading fees, but you're still going to find over and above. Right now, my suggestion would be WEEX. Even though it's not a tier 1 exchange, they don't have fire blocks, they at least have 1,000 Bitcoin reserved for user funds. But that's only going to be viable if Bitcoin's over 50. The first time it drops to 25, you're going to have a problem. So just be conscious of that. BitUnix is still a good option, but obviously, you know, they changed their terms of services, so you have to be very careful with that as well. Frankie Fresh, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. But King Day, good morning. So, but I mean, that's basically what I have this morning. I'm going to release this. You know, I'm going to go do what I got to do this morning. No donations, no new members of Tom's Army, so no reason to go over and above, you know, as far as having to thank so many more people. So we can get this out. I can get on with my day. I got a lot of stuff to do before my son gets out of school. Algo right now is down 2.14%. We've talked about the back test here, possibly. Even if it comes down, you're talking about that 18-cent mark, possibly. But it's like with everything else. Weekly's getting back towards where I like to see it in the neutral area. Daily with algo, you know, it's let's let this load. If it will load. I hate TradingView now. I mean, I like it, but I hate it. It takes so long. Daily is coming back down below overbought, so I think this is how a lot of the market is going to present itself. Weekly is in the neutral. Monthly, you know, it's going to take 3/4 of a year, but eventually it'll pop up. Is in the neutral. So, I mean, we're getting to a point where we could start making some noise here. Could start making some noise. And we can see the uptrend starting here. Boom. Right here. What the hell is going on, TradingView? There we go. Maybe something like this. So we'll just have to watch this going forward. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate all of you. Can we do a live tonight? I'm planning on it. It all depends on my son. But I like to do the live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, assuming that everything's going good. So as long as my son's good and in a good mindset, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been doing the lives in the morning, even though I would just normally do an update. But with my son at school, it makes it easier. So I figured we could all be involved. It's been hit or miss, to say the least. But good vibes, good people. And it makes it worth it with the ones I see in here. So be blessed, everybody. One more like to 100. Is there one person who can give us like number 100 before I leave? That would be fantastic. And one more thing I would like to do. We haven't done this in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. I think you all can start to feel what time it is when we're a little dark and gloomy, not quite sure. There's one foregone conclusion, one thing that we can be loving with, and one thing we can fall back on. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. We got to clear this out. I'd rather get it in its own perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, eventually we can do this, but of course, in the monthly, it won't let me clear this out. So we'll go to a different chart. And we'll go to the US 10-year if it ever loads. Give it up for TradingView trying to do its job. This will work. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we may and we won't and we can and we won't and we will with rate cuts and we will and we won't and we can and we will and we won't and we will, we can, we will, oh yeah. Stay true, stay blessed, be patient. All-time highs are coming for XRP. We just don't know when. And of course, we will stomp on Bitcoin because it's the biggest Ponzi scheme ever known to the world. Be blessed, everybody. I hope you enjoyed sunny days. He's going to smoke his